Hey, welcome to another episode of Dr. Bertetta's Beginner Guitar Theory. I'm here once again with my friend Sean, Living Room Austin, kind enough to host these videos and doing a lot more. So, just to kind of back up real quick, kind of summarize what these first few episodes have been about, and really trying to get you to learn a couple things. On the one hand, essential to every guitar player playing the guitar in any capacity. You got to know, how to play on the fretboard, right? And secondly, to begin to teach you how to think about the theory behind what makes music work. All right, and so we've been talking about intervals because for me. You've heard me talk a lot about them. It's going to be something you're probably going to get sick of me talking about, but hopefully that means you learn some stuff about intervals. So we went from understanding using intervals to help us understand, the notes on the fretboard, to then begin talking about the major scale. And as I said last time, you can kind of think of major scale as, the mother of all Western music. It is the rules that govern much of that history. And so the way we began talking about the major scale was, again, using numbers, but this time, instead of using the numbers just specifically in reference to intervals, we were talking about them in terms of scale degrees, okay? So each number, or each letter, each note corresponds to a different degree, all right, all relative to what's called the tonic note, or the one, or the root. Those are all pretty much synonymous as far as root of the scale. Most typically probably the tonic. That's a good word to know, vocabulary word. So we've been focusing these discussions on just one scale, the C major scale. So this is the scale, again, to use the image. It's the white keys of the piano, okay? Is what we've primarily been talking about. And so I showed you last time a pattern, right? And so what we're going to refer to that is the C shape, okay? And so I taught you that last week. Hopefully, you practice it if you don't know it already. But if you do know it already, maybe you took that extra step and began, as I suggested, thinking about the intervals between the different notes. Okay, say what's the interval between an E and an A? It's good to know that. All right, or what's the inversion of that? We talked about that last time. So not only the intervals relative to the tonic, but the intervals that relate to other pairs of notes as well. Okay, those are good things to know. And again, we'll help you find them on the fretboard. You know the name and some of those shapes that I showed you. So we kind of took that idea of shapes and expanded it to, a much fuller run through of the notes using just these first three frets of the fretboard. Okay, so for our purposes now, I'm referring to that shape, and millions of other people do too. Refer to that as the C shape. Not the other four shapes that I'm going to show you are referred to in this system A, G, E, and D shapes. Okay, so you look at the letter spelled caged. All right, why it's called caged? It's something we'll talk about next week. And different people have different opinions about using the cage system. As a teaching material. I think, hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's different for everybody. So, showed you that shape. The next shape we're going to learn is the A shape. Okay, and we're going to be following in the notes of the major scale, the C major scale. And I have diagrams of these shapes for you on the Facebook page related to the channel here. So you can practice them. And sooner or later, Sean here, he's going to learn how to put those diagrams up on the screen somewhere so you can see them as we're talking about them. I don't have that kind of knowledge, but he volunteered. So, A shape. Start again, same place I start the C shape, all right? Third, A string, third fret, that's C, all right? Now I go up a whole step, right? 1 to 2 is a whole step. We learned that last week too. D, okay? Now I can go find E here. It is there, but that's not in the A shape, okay? But so if E is the third, think about our shapes. Where were we? All right, for a third, it's that diagonal, okay? From the root, down 1 string, back 1 fret, all right? That's the E. Now we have F, 3 to 4, half step, right? 4 to 5, whole step. So what's that? That's G, okay? Then again, sticking within the A shape, we come to A on the G string 2nd fret. That's A. 6 to 7, A to B, 4th string, 4th fret, 3rd string, and then up 1 fret. Okay, now we're back to C. Okay, 1 to 1 or to the octave. Then we can start on the C and continue, just like we continued past the root, you know, the C here last week to include these notes. Here we can do the same. Start on C, okay, and in this shape I find D here. 2nd string, B string, 3rd fret. Now I come to my 3, okay, a whole step, that's E. And in this shape again, I'm going to go F, the 4. G, 1st string, 3rd fret. And then this shape will take me up to A. Why is it named A shape if that's the ending note? We'll find out. So that's the A shape. Then the G shape, then I'm gonna start on my root. So the G shape will take us up to here. Okay? So that is the E string, 6th string, 8th fret. Okay, C. So this shape goes this way towards the head, okay, of the guitar. C. Now I'm on the 5th string, 5th fret, D. Now we know, hopefully we know by now, you know, what numbers, you know, if it's a half step or whole step. So D, whole step E, half step F, whole step. Now I can find the G down here. All right, 4th string, 5th fret. A, 7th fret. Now I'm going to skip back down to the 3rd fret, or 3rd string, 4th fret. There's my B in this shape. Now we know what? B to C, 7 to 1 is, or 8 to 7 to 1 is a half step. C. Okay, so there you go. Then again, I can continue. So to fill this shape out, again, C, I'm going to be able to do another octave here. C, D, 3rd string, 7th fret, E, again, we saw this in the A shape, right? So they overlap. E, F, okay, we saw that last time too. Now we go from F to the 5, this is C, A, now I'm on the high E string, 6, 7, 8, or 1, okay? B, C. So all together, try it backwards, okay? When you really get those shapes in mind, you know, and under your fingers, a lot of it's muscle memory, and that comes through practice, all right? Doing it over and over and over and over and over again, till it becomes, you know, just natural. Then, you know, not expecting, you know, that if you're a beginner, that's going to happen anytime soon, but practicing that kind of stuff will help you get there. Then you can start, you know, moving a lot of notes around, you know, and rather than just running a scale like that. Okay. So we did our G, now we're on the E shape. So the E shape, again, now here, it's going to share the same spot that the G did. Just like the C and the A shape, those patterns share the same note on the same string. So do the G and the E shape. So here, C, D. Now look, I can go to 12, and there's my E again. So the 12th fret notes, if you don't know this, are also the same as open string. So these patterns you're learning. Those are going to repeat once you hit the 12th fret. The 12th fret is like the open string. Okay, so, but in this shape, I'm not going to move up to there. I'm not going to move up to that third. I'm going to use that shape we've talked about. Okay, so one string down, one string back, right? Or one fret back. That's E. We saw that note also with our last shape. So E, we saw this too with the last shape. F. Now instead of going here for my G, I'm going to go here. 10th fret, 5th string. Now I'm on the 4th string. Okay. This is A. I'm on the 7th fret. Now I go 9 for the B. And there's my C again. Okay, then I can continue going up. So I have my C again on the 10th fret, 4th string. Now I can find my D on the 3rd string, 7th fret. 1, 2, 3, E, 4, F, G. Use your middle finger here for the G. On the 8th fret, my pinky finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So that's G, A, 5, 6, 7, B, A, something like that, okay? Singing-wise, that is. But there you go. There's another, that's the kind of bottom half of the C major scale in that E shape, okay? Last shape, the D shape, okay? So D shape, its root, okay, is going to be found on this same C that we saw with the E pattern, okay? So C, but instead of going, kind of filling out here, we're going to go more towards the bridge of the guitar as we move forward with this pattern. So C, again, 10th fret, 4th string. I get my D here, 12th fret, right? Open string, 12th fret, same note. E, we just saw, 9th fret, 3rd string. F, a half step up from that, now a whole step. G, A, B, that's 6 and 7. Then I find my C here. 13th fret, 2nd string, just like I find it here, first fret, 2nd string. Then I can continue, C, D, now I'm on the high string, highest string, E, again, just like the open, right? E, so what comes next? Well, if we know this comes here because we learned that from last week, then we know that comes there, right? And I can go to the G if I want. But from here now, it's going to repeat. Sorry for my little fog up there. But you get the idea, all right? And then you just continue these patterns as far as you can go, okay? So continue practicing your C shape and, begin, to learn these other shapes. My suggestion would be don't try them all at once, okay? Stick with one for a while until you, again, get it under your fingers, all right? And say the intervals. So A shape, here's the 5. 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Learn the intervals from one note to the next, okay? G, using this shape, there's the B, there's the C. Again, it's two ways of thinking about and learning the fretboard are kind of happening at the same time. And so that's going to help you mentally and, with your fingers, okay? And it's going to help you, again, much longer down the road when, as you progress as a guitar player. So next week, we're going to talk about chords. We're going to be looking at scales like this, kind of like up and down rather than left and right, all right? Things are going to get a little bit different. So until then, practice. Again, you can find the diagrams for these shapes on my Facebook page, okay? Free to download. So thanks for watching. Keep learning. Keep rocking.